Hi everyone, welcome to episode 1 of opening traps that every beginner should know. We're going to start with an absolute classic. I've fallen for this so many times back in the day, but once you learn how to play against it, then you'll never fall for it again. So we'll go through what the trap is to start with and what it looks like when you fall for it, and then we'll have a look at how you should play against it. And once you understand that piece, you'll be loving it when your opponent actually tries to play this trap against you. If you are new to the channel and you're enjoying these videos, then do hit that subscribe button to never miss any. Leave a like down below and also comment with any videos you'd like to see, and I'll look to get through as many as I can. So as a d4 player myself, I do come across this trap quite a lot. So it goes like this: white plays d4 and black responds with e5, and this is known as the England gambit. So white should accept this gambit, it's a free pawn after all. Black now develops the knight to c6, attacking the pawn. White plays the most logical move here and defends the pawn with his knight. And now black sets up a sneaky trap. They play queen to e7. So they're hitting the pawn for a second time, and the most logical way for white to defend is by developing this bishop to f4, giving further support there. And now black jumps in with the whole point of the queen e7 move, queen b4 check. And this is a triple attack on the king, the bishop, and the b2 pawn. And because these pieces are undefended, it looks like we're in disaster territory for white. So when white sees all this, they think, oh no, I better drop back my bishop, defend the check, bring the bishop back away from where it was attacked. And white also sees that if black chops the pawn on b2, then they can now play the very clever move, bishop to c3, defending the rook via this x-ray, and also bringing this bishop to a lovely diagonal now. But here's the big problem with this move, and here's where black now springs the trap in earnest, bishop to b4. And the big problem now is that white can't take the queen, because otherwise the king will be in check, so that's an illegal move. So again, white's looking to hold everything together. They therefore play the queen up to d2, you defend the bishop, and what white sees here is that after bishop takes, queen takes, you're now defending the rook, and everything's all good again. The big problem that white has missed here is that queen c1 is now checkmate. A really nasty end to this sneaky little trap. So that's what it can look like when it all goes wrong. If we run it back some moves though now, we can have a look at how white should play in this position when black brings the queen out to e7. So playing bishop f4 is still a good way to play here, because after queen b4 check, we can still bring the bishop back and defend, and after the queen chops here, now here's the key difference. Instead of defending the rook with bishop c3, we instead develop the knight to c3 and defend the rook with the queen like this. And now black is in all sorts of trouble. Let's say they bring the knight in to b4 to hit this c2 pawn. Well, now we can simply jump across with our own knight, defending this square here. And if black were to try and kick our knight away, say with c5, well, now we can pick up a tempo on the queen by playing rook to b1. The queen is forced away to a3. And now another hop into b5, hitting the queen, threatening a fork on c7. So after queen a5, we now just begin to drive away all of the black pieces. So we can play pawn to a3. Black has to drop back with knight to c6. We can now go knight to d5, exposing an attack on the queen here and threatening the fork on c7. And after, say, queen a4, we can now jump in with the knight, deliver the fork, and black's whole position is just absolutely collapsing. Just coming back to this position, if instead of playing the knight into b4, black instead played the same bishop to b4, attacking the knight, well, now we have the rook to b1 move again, picking up the tempo on the queen. And after queen to a3, we have knight to b5, again hitting the queen. Black will now exchange these bishops so as to not lose a piece. And after queen takes, black now has a big problem with this c7 pawn again. Let's say they chop here on a2, attacking the white rook. Well, now we can simply play rook to d1, coming to this half open file. We still have the threat of taking the c7 pawn, and black is forced to play something like, say, king d8. And we can see here that despite white being a pawn down, the position is completely crushing, with the black king unable to castle and stuck in the centre of the board for the rest of the game. And white is very soon going to develop the rest of the pieces, castle his own king, and he has all sorts of knight jumps available to him that will soon get really dangerous. So the next time your opponent tries to spring the England gambit on you and have you fall into his trap, you'll now be able to turn the tables on him and get the upper hand because you know what you're doing in this position. And don't forget to check out the other videos in these series so that you never fall for these sneaky opening traps again, and in fact you can actually turn the tables on your opponents and hit them with a taste of their own medicine. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment to let me know what videos you'd like to see next, and I hope to see you again on a future video.